Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Microsoft Flight Simulator VR Cape to Cairo Challenge. We recently set off, had a nice flight in the middle of the Namibian desert. We had a lovely little flight here from this little unknown airfield to use some nice landmarks to get where we wanted to go. So today we're thinking if we can just remind ourselves roughly where we are. I can probably turn that off. I somehow remembered a lot of the old stuff that I set up for previous flights, but this was the one we're at. So we're roughly here in the middle of, well, at least in the southern part of Namibia. If we take a look at this map, still a long way to go to Cairo, but that's the journey, not the destination. So, what are we thinking for today? Again, we're outside of VOR range. That means this tower here is too far away for us to use that, as well as these ones. So, we'll follow our rule. We'll try and keep this one nice and short. Again, this airfield is called Mariental Airport, but it's not the official one. Here in the little town of Mariental is the airport, so we're probably gonna go directly there. There seems to be quite a nice road that leads there, or most of these roads actually seem to lead there. So let's see what we're looking at, the distances look like, and what we need to do to get there, if anything special. Let's have a look. I'm gonna take off here from runway 31, where we landed last time. Then we're gonna land here in Mariental. Let's land runway 10. So if we're lucky again like last time and we're able to spot the airfield and everything, then maybe we can do it first try, but we'll see. So let's just have a look here. Maybe we can sort of just try and fly straight there. There's always this road and river here as a backup. But this is about it's about 36 nautical miles. It seemed to have split it up here in the middle for me. Not sure why. So that's a bit of a long distance. I'm thinking we'll probably want to, at the very least, fly. Let's just immediately fly to this. I want to add it. Yes. Got it right this time. I usually do append and then it adds it afterwards. Let's just add that to our flight plan. We add this position, and this is just for me to gauge rough distances and headings that we'll need to go. At this point we can probably follow the road, but let's just it's always better to have more data than to be stuck there in the plane without any idea of where we're going. So I think at this point, we should see the town already. We should see maybe even that road. So that should all be fine. What I was also thinking about today is if we can maybe use Google Maps or Google Earth in this case to just familiarize ourselves even more. So if we remember from last time, here is the little runway we landed on. Right here, let's hope this gives us a nice view. There we go. And yep, it still zooms into the same spot. And we are flying to Mariental there. So this road does seem to be we can maybe even just follow from this view, we can follow the runway heading straight out, join up with that road. Should be fairly easy. I don't expect this to be a tricky one. If we can just have a look here at our runway, we see one of these or a bunch of these circles that might be useful if they're still they're still there and represented in Flight Simulator. What else do we see? It suddenly gets very green because of this river, the Fish River. So we know the runway is to the west of the town. That's good information. What else do we see apart from these circular fields? I don't see much else. So we know it's on the west side of the river, and it's on the west side of the town. Is this the town or is this farmland? This is more farmland. This is the town. Okay, that's important. Didn't zoom in far enough. Alright, so I think that's enough planning for this relatively short flight. If we take a look at I sometimes forget to look at this, but this even gives us an altitude indicator. If there are some mountains in the middle, it'll give you a notification saying, hey, you need to go higher. But I think this area is still relatively flat. Okay, let's get started. Let's just remember this one because I can't. I've already put this airfield into the flight simulator, but the destination, Foxtrot Yankee Mike Lima. Let's get started. Not sure why flight simulator is. Let's just stay offline for now. Hopefully that doesn't break anything. Now I may have forgotten. Let's see. Oops. Foxtrot Yankee Mike Lima. There we go. Mariental. Confirm. I'm just gonna set this time again because sometimes it forgets. Okay. 23-minute flight. We're obviously gonna bend a little with this road. Why is it so dark? Okay. Quite like the dark takeoffs. It's nice and pretty. Just confirm that we got this correct. Yep, there we go. Okay, let's get started. I'm not in VR mode. That's why things were looking weird for me as well. Let's switch quickly. Alright, and I can.
Cessna 42 taking off runway 31 departure to the west.
Interesting. Something seems to have changed the voice that I was usually having, but okay, that's fine. If we have a look here, wow, the sun is really shining in through this window. Almost instinctively stuck my hand out now to try and block it. Okay, let's bring up our map. We don't really have anything too important to set up in terms of nav radios, since we're not going to be using them for this flight, since there are no nav stations nearby. So let's just have a look. What's our important parts? We know we're going to fly near runway heading at about 307 degrees. We basically are following we're almost pointing in that direction. So as I said, near runway heading, and we're going to follow this path until we intercept this road. There's going to be a fork in the road here. We need to go on the left fork, and that should take us directly to the town. If all goes well, let's have a look. I didn't check the weather, but I do see what looks like a windsock there, but unfortunately it's a bit far away. So flaps are up, mixture full, throttle, parking brake is off, full throttle, here we go. It's not an incredibly long runway. Okay, the windsock is very calm. The light wind there is facing in. We are facing the right direction. No, it is actually a long runway. No worries. Let's get it into the air. Keep our heading just about between 300 and 310. Slowly but surely build up our airspeed. That's the most important thing. Because I think there's some update or something in the sim, and I'm not sure if it's internet related or if it's the Microsoft servers, but you might see that the land looks even more barren than normal. Normally. I suspect there is an update and the servers are probably just struggling a little bit. So maybe in next video, oopsie.
Center Cessna 42 is type Cessna 152, 2 miles northwest of Foxtrot Yankee Lima Whiskey 4000.
Maybe in next video we'll
request flight following.
Get some better terrain. Something weird is happening with my headset as well now after that little glitch. I'm just quickly going to hopefully see if I can... Oh no, oh no. Okay. That did solve at least the issue I was having. It inadvertently broke one of my rules, but I didn't intend to, and it wasn't used as for any navigation, but I don't want to pause the game at all during flight because that is not realistic, so we're just gonna blame that on some technical difficulties with either the headset or the sim. As I sim, I mean simulator, or game if you will. So I'm just scared now because if hopefully this renders all the roads as we would expect them to be. I really hope this doesn't interfere with... Oh, my heading is off. That entire thing threw me a little. Okay, I think, yeah, I was way off. Of course, we have a look here though. See, now I am lost already. Because we are heading on heading 307 around-ish. So when I find this road, okay. I was panicking about that angle, but that angle is the straight line I drew there. So obviously the angle we are taking is not as severe. So that's fine. I think this is our road. I'm guessing we're... Whoops. I'm guessing we're about here somewhere. See, the terrain really looks completely different now because it's not able to fetch the real-time or the latest data that they have about it, and then they probably just use some generic stuff. I don't think it's this grassy in this part of Namibia. It's a bit of a shame. But we're airborne now. Unless the game crashes or something, we don't restart. Why? Okay, I'm seeing. Wow, I think we're already at this intersection here with 3 roads. 316. Yeah, no, I do think we're already at this point. I should have done some quick maths to just at least estimate how long each of these legs will take. that's fine. This part is roughly 11 nautical miles, although there's no clear area where that's going, so that's probably not as useful. We're just gonna follow the middle road. I wonder what this is. That looks interesting. Let's see if we see anything on this map. That looks like a runway. Or is this perhaps a railway? Interesting. Something is crossing this road here. That is interesting. Okay, let's confirm. We see a body of water there on the left. The map doesn't show that. That's okay. It doesn't always do that. Okay. I also recently watched some videos about this instrument here, the ADF. What it stands for is suddenly is it automatic distance finder? No, direction finder? No, can't remember. But I've done some research on that. There are beacons that were used before VORs, as far as I understand. Wow, this road looks very out of place here, sorry. And it works, to my understanding, in a similar way to the VOR, at least in the sense that it can guide you towards the beacon. Not like the VOR where you can know if you're on a radial or fly like at specific radials or those things. It's just a one-way or a single directional arrow on that little on this dial here. If you tune that to its frequency, it will, and you're in range, it will point to that, or you need to point the plane so that direction points, I think, upwards. Maybe, I don't know. I've yet to use one, but I looked on the little nav map before. There are some in Flight Simulator or in the little nav map, but they're even more sparse than some of the VORs. So we'll definitely see in the future if we can get any of them, but you know, it'll be interesting to know what we can use them for and how they work. So we're going to figure that out together, probably in some future episodes. These roads here really do throw me off. What I think is probably happening right now is the data that it normally has more information on whether these things are tar roads or dirt roads or whatever. And right now, because the game is struggling to communicate with the servers to fetch the real-time data, it's basically reverting everything to tar roads, which is throwing me off a lot because I expected us to, be able to discern the difference between some of the main road and some of these side roads. But alas, we're not. I'm also a bit concerned because, okay, I shouldn't be too concerned, and maybe I should have drawn more lines here. I was a bit concerned about how very west I'm flying, but I'm looking at this map and thinking, well, I need to fly almost northwest, but then I remember this compass, I always forget, this compass shows us magnetic, it points to magnetic north. So that can throw you off when you're like this, when you're thinking you're flying exactly west. Maybe the sun could be some indicator of that. Yeah, see I can't exactly see this. Oh, there it is. It's hard to tell because we are flying quite west. I guess we'll find out. In the worst case scenario, if this road was the wrong one, but we are going in a westerly direction, if we see this river, then that's what we'll follow. Hopefully, with the game not getting the real-time data, that river is hopefully still discernible. I think I remember that little peak from one of our other videos. Maybe a different one. Remember, we didn't fly incredibly straight. We did make some curves and some jagged lines just to get to the closest airports or airfields to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. So in that sense, I think GPS has another huge advantage that we're obviously not getting now, but not just in terms of saving time, but in terms of saving fuel. So if you can fly with a GPS, it's probably in the long run way cheaper because you can fly way more direct routes. You can minimize the risk of, or minimize the chance of getting lost, having to circle around, trying to find out where you are, wasting fuel. And I've spoken about like the dangers, obviously, of that if you do get lost. If you get lost and you can't land somewhere, it can get a bit hairy. I do imagine myself, or I think I see some greenery there in the distance. I'm really in two minds now. Like, I don't want to not have this flight because I've already started it. I want it to be continuous, but also, this is, in terms of the landscape, a bit of a subpar experience in terms of beauty of it and the realism. So, this is a short flight. I'll try and see if I can get it fixed for the next one. It's another lesson to learn. If it gives us that message in the beginning, don't do the offline mode. I thought it would have had these maps, cached or something, but it doesn't. That's okay. From this distance, it's not that big of a deal. Okay. Seeing a road now that crosses, I'm getting a little nervous. See, now I don't know. I can't reconcile that crossing there doesn't really align with anything I expect to see on this map, because this is a T-junction. Okay. We're still going in a general, a little bit more west than I would have expected. I would have expected the road that we were on to start to make a little bit of a sharp. Maybe we're still here. I just expected it to make a bit more sharp northerly turn, and all of these definitely not correct roads are really throwing me off. If we see a canyon or a river, we know we've gone way too far. Not ideal. Really, really not ideal. What can you do? It almost does look like a canyon here in front. Or a little... I know this fish river does form part of the Fish River Canyon. I don't think it's... Well, I'm not sure exactly where the big canyon part of it is, but I don't think it's quite exactly at this town. Is that a town I'm seeing? No. I guess I would, if it was an offline mode, it probably still renders some representation of a town. It has to, right? But this feels very strange. Like that there in the front tells me there's a river there. But luckily, you know, we looked at our map beforehand. We had that as a contingency. I do think the glitching of the roads threw me off there in the beginning, and my headset freaking out a little. But if this is the case, we can still recover. We'll just follow. I'm gonna reduce my altitude a little bit. Confirm this. This road makes no sense. And like, what is that? What is that road doing there? A little bit immersion braking this. We'll just pretend that this one was some sort of fever dream I had or something. I don't think Namibia has malaria, but think of some other... Maybe I was sick and didn't really notice my surroundings and thought I imagined some roads or something. Very strange patterns. If this landscape is completely incorrect and doesn't match with the road, doesn't match what the map says, you know, it'll nullify a bit the challenge that we're doing. Because our whole challenge is a visual challenge, so if the visuals aren't what you expect to see, then the visuals can't be trusted, and therefore the whole flight is voided. I mean, if we use GPS and the map, the ground doesn't load, not a big deal. You probably are focused on the map and not on the outside world. See now, okay, that road just disappears there. And we're almost, okay, we are flying, no. Now I'm wondering, is this a river? Or is this just some little ridge? The fortunate thing is that most of these roads do lead to Mariental, where we want to go. But I mean, a road like this feels very out of place. I thought this ridge may be maybe that river, but I don't think it is. We do see another road here. Oops, maybe that road is this one. You know, that was our second contingency if we get past that road. There is another one here, so regardless, looking at our heading now, we do need to head in a general north direction. So, barring the fact that this is not a river, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I mean, it doesn't look like a river. The shape makes me think it's a river, and now I'm seeing another shape that side that also looks like a river. Could that be? If that's the case, then we're probably at this road. Regardless, I'm seeing two roads here next to each other. Again, I can't. That's the big problem with this. If I can't trust my senses, maybe. Aha! A road and a rail. Okay. So it appears we have crossed to this road. It's actually, let's just confirm that roughly with our expected heading. Yeah, I'm gonna wager that this is our river. There. And this is our road. Yes. Okay. See a body of water there in the distance. That has to be this dam. If that's the case, then I would expect the airfield to be relatively, well, actually quite a distance from that. Well, that's fine. Okay, this does look very much like a road and railway. Oh, something is broken there with that rendering. At least the sun still looks pretty. And again, just because we've made this we got lost a little bit now, having a shorter flight planned means, our odds of getting lost just hopefully drastically reduce, giving us like opportunities like this as fallbacks. Whereas if we had too long stretches to fly, I don't know, you can just get lost. Okay, sun is getting quite high. I'm flying about 25 minutes now on a flight estimated to be about 29. So we flew more west than we intended, so I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit longer. And my confidence is growing, that I think we're still fine. Or at least we're fine again. One thing that I am also remembering now is that I didn't close the Google Earth tab that I showed the map on before. That may interfere a little bit as well, at least in terms of my computer's performance. I try to close as many things as I can. I obviously still have little nav map open, and I have the Chrome tab for my document open, which Chrome isn't great for memory, but it's fine as long as we don't use a lot of GPU. So I'm scared that Google Maps may use a little bit more GPU than I would have wanted. take a look here. Okay, the runway is on that side. We do seem to have an area here where the river does seem to get very close to this railway. Almost into this green area. Is this green area our town? Or at least the farmlands? Are we seeing any circles yet? The map's probably now completely wrong. Maybe we take this episode as a first gamble to see if we can open one of these windows. Whoops. Ooh. Look how okay. Maybe not the best idea, but look how the plane wants to pull. We hear a different audio. Let's close it. Alright, so that was fun. Let's keep that locked for now. That was an interesting one. I do see something there that appears to be a runway. Could that be? We're going for runway 10. This is a runway, an airfield with 2 runways. So if that is our runway and we see a second line, I do see a faint line there. You know what? I think that's our runway right there. I'm gonna reduce altitude. Try and reduce some speed. If it's not our runway, then we'll just speed back up and get some altitude again. Okay, let's have a look. Runway 01 would be 10 degrees, which does seem to align with our compass here. Yes, I'm not seeing the second runway yet, the one that seemingly goes across from that or diagonally from that, so I'm not 100% convinced yet, but I'm convinced enough to start my descent as if I am going to land there. Okay. I haven't been using all of my flaps every time I've been landing. I'm gonna try and experiment at the very end with actually using all of them. I'm not sure exactly what level the flaps is the best for what scenarios, but I do think usually on planes you go all the way with the flaps, right? At least for landing. Okay, I'm seeing this runway. It aligns with my expected heading. That's short. It's a shorter one, and it's gravel. That's maybe why we're not seeing it. The shorter runway appears to be gravel. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Gonna really reduce my airspeed, reducing my throttle. We're on flaps zone. Flaps level 1 deployed. Let's bring up more flaps. Let's bring out some more flaps. Ah, there we go. We are now full flaps. The plane definitely feels more twitchy now. I'm just looking behind me, so that's the flap. Well, we should just try to not stall. I'm also a little bit to the right of the runway, so I'll try and make my way a little bit more to the left to get in line. Let's confirm it with our compass. Still a little bit to the right. Still don't see the diagonal runway. That's okay. This full flaps thing feels good. It feels like I'm able to fly a little bit more comfortably at a lower speed. In the previous ones at this altitude and speed, it felt a little like I was dropping too much. So that's fine, mixture is rich. Ever so slightly a little bit high. But what's new? Unfortunately, no landing aids here, no VASI lights. I really want to go. Let me focus, sorry. Now is not the time. Right, pulling back our throttle. There we go. I'm gonna try and keep. Oh, that's a bit hard. That's okay. I wanted to keep the nose up a little longer. Let's bring those flaps up immediately. Didn't exactly land in the right direction. Here's the. I'm assuming the supposed second runway or something. Maybe. I think everything is just a little off now with the game. That's fine. Okay, luckily the wind was negligible. Let's take this off ramp directly into the sun. We're just going to stop it right here on this piece of grass. Okay, decent landing. I experimented a little bit with our flaps, just to remind yourself these are the flaps. They have 3 positions. If you ever fly in a like commercial jet, they also have them. You'll see them right before landing. It's like a part of the wing. It just gives you a lot more lift at a slower speed. You can extend them like this. Quite nice. I landed for the first time with all of them with it fully extended. Here's the little flap lever. It shows you 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees. So that was fun. Oh, why is that not even? There we go. That was a new experience. I think it's a more correct experience. I'm going to experiment with that in the future. Let's have a look quickly. If we can just get out of VR. Let's just have a look at where we went wrong. So this was our intended flight plan, and if we turn this thing on, yes, okay. Where did it go wrong? I see what happened. I see what happened. So this is... I'm not sure. I think this is supposed to be a very small dirt road. I don't know if you can see it there. And I think we just so happened... See, we... In the beginning, I didn't focus completely, or I didn't focus very nicely. Went too far north, and I knew my plan was to go and on the runway heading and intercept our road. We ended up, I think, intercepting this road, thinking it was that road. The headings did feel a little bit off, but I tricked myself into thinking it was something to do with compass. Maybe it was a little bit, but I think it was the fact that this road should have been barely visible. If we have a look, if we can find it on Google Maps again. Okay, let's just think. I almost feel like I know this area very well now. Here we go. So, yeah, see, so I was expecting to intercept this road. There is, yeah, here we go. There is a very, very, very small, like, dirt road that goes through here, and the game, because of it's not able to get this correct data from the servers, rendered all of the roads as big, solid tar roads. Not even the one we were going on wasn't even a tar road. The one we were supposed to was also a dirt road, but it was a big one. So, I mean, excuses can be made, I guess. Maybe I should take a little bit more responsibility for that. Not flying my initial heading very cleanly. Not sure what happened, but I'll try and work on that. And yeah, here we basically flew almost due west. I was thinking we were going west. I was thinking, nah, it's the compass, but okay. Then we rendezvoused with our railway here and spotted the airfield. Didn't really see much of the town. I don't think it rendered correctly. But okay, we are in Mariental. Let's just have a look again on our nice... we're here. For my next couple of videos, I think where we want to end up in... I didn't initially think I would want to go there, but I do think it would be fun to go to Windhoek, which is the capital of Namibia. It's a little bit more west than I wanted to go. I wanted to go like maybe this way and over the Okavango. But I think, looking back at this vast desert areas we've crossed in small towns, I've never been to Windhoek myself. It would be fun to see a little bit more. I think Windhoek is the biggest city in Namibia. So it'll be fun to see more of an urban area again, as well as I think Windhoek Airport, yes, has an ILS, which stands for Instrument Landing System. I have played with those in the past, and even though the Cessna 152, doesn't have GPS and all those things, it can use those instruments to use this ILS, and that will help you do a very nice landing. That's probably going to be a couple of videos away, because we're going to probably do a few more hops to get there. As soon as we're in... I don't want to go into too much flight planning now. There is a VOR here. It's got a 38 nautical mile range. As soon as we... See, why does it want to have that? Maybe we should experiment and see next time if that... No, something went wrong there. That's fine. It's not important right now, but when we get into VOR range of this airport, then we can just skip all the ones in the middle. But right now, like we just saw, it's still too easy to get lost here in the middle of nowhere. So sorry for everyone that lives in Mariental if I just offended your town. I'm pretty sure it's a lovely area, but yeah, we're gonna do a few more hops around here. But that I think wraps this video up. Thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.